Hi everyone, we're back. And now today we've got a brand new bike to test, this Orbea Rise. We've been lucky enough to get it, to put it through its paces for the next 2 or 3 days. We're going to do a full ride review today. Then if you've watched any of our other videos, we're going to take it up the big hill climb. We're looking forward to see how it goes with the EP8 RS Motor up that hill climb and how it compares to the other bikes. And we'll also do a range test with it. If you like our videos, please remember to like and subscribe so you can see these upcoming videos that we're going to bring to you very soon.
Okay, today we've got the Orbea Rise M10. It's the middle of the range model, weighing in at 18.2 kilos. The top of the line model is spec'd a little bit differently and can be as light as 16.2 kilos, which is what's getting everyone excited with these lightweight EMTBs. Compared to the full fat mountain bikes, they weigh in around 22 to 26 kilos. So this is significantly lighter while still packing quite a punch with the EP8 RS motor. The Orbea Rise achieves its lightweight by a few different measures. It's got the full carbon frame with an integrated 360 watt-hour battery, which is around 60% of what you might find in the typical full fat e-mountain bikes that are ranging from the low end of 500 watt hours up to 800 or 900 watt hours. It's got the Fox Float 36 fork and the Fox Float DPX2 shock, just the standard mountain bike spec, which saves a bit of weight. And it's also got some lightweight, less heavy duty tires than you might find on a full fat bike. This is some of the big ways that they've managed to save weight and build this low weight, low power platform that we're going to test today. The Orbea is running 29er wheels, both front and back. It's got 150mm or 140mm on the fork, depending on the spec you choose. 140mm on the rear thanks to the UFO suspension linkage. The top of the range spec comes with the Fox Float 34 instead of the 36, and it comes with 2-pop brakes instead of 4-pop brakes as weight saving measures. This M10 middle of the line has the 36s, as we've mentioned, and 4-pop brakes, so it's a bit more better spec'd for heavier duty riding, whereas the low weight model may be better if you're not doing the technical heavy stuff and you just want a really light bike. It's got a 65.5 head angle and a 77-degree seat angle. So this allows it to be quite a progressive geometry. It's good for the downhills and the technical stuff, as well as the trail riding, which allows you to adapt and ride in lots of different environments. The seat tube angle is particularly helpful for the steep technical climbs, combined with the EP8 RS that has quite a more modular feeling to the power, so you can really adapt the power you want from the bike depending on how hard you're working. And it doesn't spin out and spin the wheels on those steep climbs as much as you might find on a full fat bike.
One of the first things you notice about the Orbea Rise is the seamless integration of the electronics here on the handlebars. There is no display, you can option it, but you've just got a little box here. And when you turn the bike on, you have a little green light. And when you press the button once for eco, you see a blue light. You press it again, you see a green light. You press it again, it's sort of like an orange light. But it is really small. It doesn't really matter, you get used to which mode you're in. But again, if you look at it with the very thin down tube, it's all about making it look like a traditional bike. It doesn't really look like an e-bike, like those full fat e-bikes. So it's all a part of making it more traditional and making it simple, and it's very clean and uncluttered. The other part, of course, is, as we know, it's got the EP8 RS, which is the same weight as the normal EP8 motors that you can get today, but it's got a slightly different firmware. It's only 60 Newton meters instead of 85 Newton meters, and how it delivers the power is a little bit different. And we'll talk a little bit more about that as we ride it more today.
Alright, so let's talk a bit more about the EP8 RS and what's different between that and the EP8. So we'll show you some graphs showing the different power curve with the tune. And in those you can see that the power as it activates is much more gradual. So as you come 40, 50, 60 cadence, the power really slowly ramps up, and that gives it a very natural feel. Whereas on a full fat bike, as you pedal in that lower speed, the bike really surges and takes off with you, which of course lots of us love. But for the integration factor, that slow power activation really makes it feel a lot more like a normal bike, and it feels like the bike works with you a lot more. Once you get in that prime cadence range of 75 to 90 RPM, you're really spinning quite fast and working hard, and the bike is assisting you as well, and it makes for quite a seamless ride and experience. The EP8 RS is paired with a 360 watt-hour battery in this quite slim down tube, which gives it quite a good range due to the better efficiency of this tune in that high RPM that you're always trying to maintain. The in-frame down tube battery is 360 watt-hours. Features the latest technology 21700 lithium cells. These are slightly larger than the older technology, and in general they have a slightly higher discharge capacity. What this means is that the cells basically will be working less hard because they're delivering less current to the lower power motor, and they're capable of delivering a higher current. This means that the batteries aren't being hit as hard and won't be worn down as fast with this type of battery. Those of you familiar with full fat bikes may be familiar with carrying a battery in your backpack to swap it over and have an all day ride. You ride in the morning, you swap it over, you ride in the afternoon. Can't do that in the Orbea Rise. The battery is sealed and inside the frame. You can get it out, but it would require you to drop the motor, so it's no easy task. If you're looking for more range, you can add with a 1.4 kilo range extender, which will take you up to around 20 kilo mark, so still quite light, but it'll give you 600 watt hours of battery, which will give you all day range in that higher boost and trail modes.
Okay everyone, we've had a big day. We've been riding pretty well most of the day. The sun is setting. It's time just to give you our thoughts before it's too late and it's too dark. But the bike has impressed. I've been very impressed. I've been always riding full fat bikes and it's impressed me. Lachlan, how do you think it compares to a full fat e-bike?
Well, I really enjoyed the Orbea Rise today. I usually ride the Turbo Canevo, so it's quite a difference. It's almost 7 kilos lighter than my usual bike. I found up the hills actually in boost, this had plenty of power. In trail, I did struggle a little, and I tried to stay in trail because of the battery life, but we've been going for a good portion of the day. The green battery light is still green, so we haven't gone below 20%. So I've really enjoyed riding it. It's definitely a capable bike. It can handle anything I've been throwing at it all day. If I was doing big, gnarly downhill tracks, I definitely want a bigger, beefier bike like my Canevo, but for 90% of the riding that I do, I'd be very happy on the Rise here. It's very nimble and light. It's really enjoyable to ride and to turn into those corners and over those little jumps. It just moves around easily.
I didn't expect it to be so good myself. I've always rode full fat 22 to 25 kilo bikes and I've liked the power, like how they bomb down the hills and just go through anything in their way. But what I found today is you can actually have more fun on a lighter, more nimble bike. You can change direction. It's so easy to move around on this bike, and I didn't actually miss the power. Like Lachlan said, in eco and trail, it's pretty good. In boost, it actually impressed me. It's a lot better in boost than the Specialized SL was.
A few months back, we were lucky enough to have the chance to test the Specialized Levo SL, another low power, lightweight e-bike similar to this one. My first impressions getting on this is that it's significantly more powerful. The power level is much closer to a full fat e-bike than the SL, particularly when we did the hill challenge that we're going to do on this. On the SL, I really struggled. It felt like it was just giving me hardly any assistance compared to those full fat bikes. Whereas this, climbing up the hills today on boost, it was absolutely fine. I was getting what I felt like 80–90% of what I would get on a full fat up those hills. And in trail, it still gives moderate assistance. I would say the trail mode on this is similar to the boost mode on the SL. How about you, John? What do you think?
And what I'm going to say as the sun pops out of the clouds, what I'm going to say is the SL says it's 2 times U and the full fat Turbo Canevo is 4 times U. I'm going to say this is 3 times U. So it's definitely a step up from the SL. With the 35 Newton meter on boost, you hardly feel anything. This on boost with 60, it's everything you could need. It gets you everywhere and anywhere you need. And what surprised me is we've been up and down the hills all day, mainly on trail and some of the tight, or not so tight, some of the real steep sections we've gone to boost. But the lights are still on green. We haven't even hit the red. So again, what I like about this bike, lightweight, low power usage, but maximum fun. I really enjoyed it. Okay, last question probably is, Lachlan, what is your final summary on your day's riding on this Orbea Rise M10?
For me, as I said before, I really enjoyed the M10. If I was going to pick a lightweight, low power e-bike, this would be the one that I would get. For me, I would definitely get the range extender. That way I could ride in boost all day. I'd have most of the power I need, just going up and down the hills, all those trails that I'd love. And for me, who doesn't ride a low power bike often, that would just keep me happy all day. I wouldn't be worn out spinning those pedals in those low power levels.
And my final thoughts are, I've always been a full fat e-bike rider. I've come off motorbikes, so I've always wanted maximum power. But this has really got me thinking, do I really need that maximum power? Do I need that extra weight? Because I've had just as much, if not more fun today on this bike with the lower power and the low weight, which has still given me a lot of riding pleasure and fun. Especially, I really noticed it going up some really hard technical rocky stuff and bombing down the hills. It was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. So it certainly put me in a bit of a quandary how much fun I've had on this bike today.
And remember, we'll be doing a hill climb test, so we'll see how this compares to the Levo SL, to the Turbo Canevo, the Bosch, the EP8, the Giant Sync Drive, the Rocky Mountain, all the other bikes we've taken up the hill. And then we'll also be doing some rides of range testing. We're going to compare it to the EP8 we have in the Merida E160, so that's a 500 watt hour battery with the EP8. This is the 360 with the EP8 RS. I'm predicting they'll get similar range, but we're going to see when we do that test. So remember to follow us, like and subscribe so you can see those videos when they come up.
Thank you, and look forward to seeing you on the next video.